Amazing transformation, child outshines teacher in seconds after a heartwarming surprise revealed. It was the day of the science fair, the air buzzed with anticipation. Jamie stood nervously, his heart pounding like a drum, as the crowd shuffled into the school auditorium. He glanced around, a cacophony of excited whispers and laughter swirling around him. His project, a dazzling model of a solar panel system, stood tall, representing more than just a school assignment. It was a glimmer of hope, an embodiment of resilience, and a silent shout of defiance against the burdens he carried. Facing judgmental eyes, especially those of Ms. Thompson, his strict science teacher, felt daunting. As the glow of the spotlight fell upon him, Jamie felt a pang of doubt. His mother's recent health scare hovered like a storm cloud, darkening his mind. She worked endlessly at the diner, wiping down tables and serving greasy sandwiches, just so they could scrape by. Despite the love that filled their small home, financial worries loomed large, weighing heavily on Jamie's young shoulders. Every time Ms. Thompson dismissed his contributions in class, it chipped away at his confidence. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jamie's emotions swelled as he thought about Ms. Thompson's skeptical gaze, always hovering over him like a dark shadow. But during this tumultuous time, he found a surprising ally in Mr. Jenkins, the retired veteran next door. With stories of grit and overcoming life's obstacles, Mr. Jenkins became a beacon of encouragement, whispering, "Life will throw you challenges, but it's how you respond that matters." In those moments, Jamie felt like he could conquer anything, but then it happened the night before the fair. His mother fainted at home, and Jamie's world tilted on its axis. He felt his insides twist in a knot of worry. As he rushed her to the hospital, visions of failure clouded his mind. Would he even be able to show up to the fair? As he glanced out the car window, trees blurred past like the chaos he felt inside. His determination wavered, and the mountain of pressure felt crushing, yet as the day dawned bright and beautiful, Jamie surprised himself. He made it to the fair, his heart racing and his project still intact. Courage surged within him as he stepped in front of the audience, ready to present his work. Just as he thought of backing down, a voice thundered from the back. Ms. Thompson, summoning him to the stage. Gasps rolled through the crowd as his project was unveiled. With each word he spoke, Jamie felt the air shift. Faces in the audience lit up with admiration. It hit him the very moment of transformation was happening. Even Ms. Thompson's expression shifted, a flicker of realization crossed her features. Would he confront her doubts openly or let this moment fade? In that pregnant pause, as eyes glued to him, Jamie faced a decision that could change everything. Would he rise above their assumptions, or would he sink into the familiar shadows of self-doubt? The question hung in the air, tethering hope and fear, as Jamie took a deep breath, ready to reveal himself. Taking a deep breath, Jamie locked eyes with Ms. Thompson. The world around him faded. The murmurs of the crowd, the flickering lights, the tension in the air all vanished. In that electrifying moment, he gathered every ounce of courage buried deep inside him. With newfound strength, Jamie began to speak. "I want to show you why this project matters so much to me," he declared. His voice trembled initially but quickly grew steadier. "This solar panel system isn't just about science, it's about helping people. It's about energy independence. It's about hope." The fire in his words ignited something in the audience. He could feel it, a collective energy, a shift toward understanding. That he moved closer to the model, pointing out the details he had poured countless hours into designing. "This is how sunlight can be captured and turned into energy for families like mine." The crowd gasped collectively. Jamie's heart surged as he noticed a few parents exchanging proud smiles. "My mom works hard at a diner, and times can be tough. But I want to create a future where we and other families don't have to worry so much. A wave of emotion swelled within him. The fear, the doubt, everything peeled away, replaced by a warmth that enveloped Jamie as he continued. He shared the story of Mr. Jenkins, how the old man had been his mentor, urging him to believe in himself. He taught me that we can face challenges together. Like using solar power to reduce bills, helping others, and supporting each other when life gets rough. As he finished speaking, he looked out at Ms. Thompson. Her gaze softened, walls of skepticism breaking apart, revealing surprise and respect. The crowd erupted into applause, but for Jamie, it was the thoughtful expression on Ms. Thompson's face that mattered most. The shadows that had loomed over him during her critiques were lifting, replaced by a realization that he was not only capable but extraordinary. Still soaking in the moment, he was approached by a classmate, Sarah, who had often been distant despite their shared classrooms. "Wow, Jamie! I never knew you had it in you," she gushed. "That was amazing. You really should enter the state science fair." In that instant, all his fears and doubts started to dissipate like morning fog. Could this be the turning point? It felt surreal. With a flutter of hope, Jamie imagined representing not just his project but every kid who had ever felt unseen. As the crowd began to disperse, Jamie spotted Ms. Thompson making her way toward him. His heart raced again, but not with fear. This was curiosity mingled with anticipation. "Jamie," she began, her voice now softer. "That was impressive. I see your potential in ways I hadn't seen before." He held his breath. Where would this conversation lead? Would she regain her faith in him, or would old skepticism resurface? Jamie clenched his fists, ready to embrace whatever came next. This was just the start. "Thank you, Ms. Thompson," he replied. "But there's more I want to do." As he turned away, mind racing with future possibilities, Jamie wondered if the biggest transformation was still to come. What if this was the opening to something even greater, a way to inspire others? Would he find the courage to push boundaries even further? With determination bubbling inside him, the future felt bright. The journey had just begun. The auditorium was still buzzing with energy, the vibrations of Jamie's speech rippling through the air. He could hardly process the wave of encouragement washing over him. It was as if the room had transformed into a cocoon, wrapping him in warmth and support. As he turned back to Ms. Thompson, he caught a glimpse of the crowd's reaction: smiling faces, nodding heads, parents whispering praises to their kids. This was more than he had hoped for. "Jamie, I'd like to discuss your project and your future," Ms. Thompson continued, her tone now filled with an unexpected kindness. "You've opened my eyes today. We could take this further. Have you thought about collaborating with your classmates? Maybe forming a club or a team?" His heart raced at the idea. A team? Like forming a group to work on solar projects? The thought ignited a spark in him. Jamie pictured a group of passionate kids, all united by shared dreams and goals, improving their community and learning together. Yes. Imagine working together, combining ideas, skills. "You could inspire your school," she said, her enthusiasm contagious. "We could even create a challenge, bring awareness to sustainable practices." Jamie couldn't help but beam at the suggestion. "That would be incredible. I know some friends who would love to join. Let us schedule a meeting next week. You'll need an organized plan." "I'll support you," Ms. Thompson offered, her eyes shining with excitement. "This could be the beginning of something really important, Jamie." As Jamie walked away, purpose surged through him. The future felt wide open, full of possibilities. He had never thought of himself as a leader, yet here he was, on the brink of rallying others around a cause he cherished. The thought sent a thrill through his veins. It was exhilarating. "Hey, Jamie!" Sarah called out, rushing to catch up. "What did Ms. Thompson say? You look like you just won a prize." "Even better," he replied, overwhelmed by the rush of positivity. We're going to form a team, create a club focused on solar energy, and she wants to help us make it happen. Sarah's eyes widened in surprise. That's amazing. I want to be a part of it. You really inspired everyone today. Who knew you had such passion? The realization struck him. He had something valuable to offer. In that moment, Jamie felt a connection not just with Sarah but with the entire group that had supported him. He could feel their energy combining, setting the stage for something bigger. As they walked through the now empty auditorium, Jamie's mind spiraled with ideas. Meetings, brainstorming sessions, community outreach, it was all so real and exciting. But amid his excitement, doubts began to creep in. What if I mess up? Jamie thought, gnawing on his lip. What if it doesn't work out? He quickly shook off those thoughts. He had overcome so much to speak his truth today. Back when he was unsure of himself, when Ms. Thompson's critiques had hurt him deeply, he had always doubted his worth. But that doubt was fading now, replaced by a flicker of determination. Hey, are you okay? Sarah asked, noticing his sudden change in expression. Yeah, I'm just thinking this is a big step. I want to make sure it works out, he replied, his voice softer. We'll be in this together. You're not alone anymore, Sarah reassured him. I believe in you. The reassurance from her felt weighty, like a warm embrace. Jamie realized he wasn't just doing this for himself anymore. It was for his mom, for the families like theirs, for everyone who had ever felt like they didn't belong. As they exited the auditorium, a fresh resolve filled Jamie. This was just the beginning of a transformative journey, but the real work lay ahead. Would he find the strength to lead a team, to share his dreams, and maybe, just maybe, change lives? Stepping into the bright sunshine outside, Jamie glanced at Sarah and smiled. Let us get to work. But even as hope surged within him, he couldn't shake the anxious wonder. What challenges waited just around the corner? Jamie's mind raced as he walked alongside Sarah, their footsteps echoing on the pavement. The bright sun poured down on them, casting long shadows behind. The world around him seemed different somehow, alive with energy and possibilities. What's our first step? Sarah asked, her excitement bubbling over. I think we should brainstorm ideas for our first meeting, Jamie replied, feeling the pulse of ambition thumping in his chest. We can gather everyone who's interested, maybe even set some goals. Goals like what? Sarah stopped and turned to face him, eyes sparkling with curiosity. Like, spreading awareness about solar energy, organizing community cleanups, or maybe even a fair to showcase what we can do. His voice trailed off as he imagined all the ways they could inspire others. Whoa, I love that. A fair could really get the community involved, Sarah exclaimed, bouncing on her toes. The thought ignited Jamie's imagination. He could see it now, colorful booths, smiling faces, kids learning and sharing, and the satisfaction of making a difference. But then the weight of reality settled in. Do you really think people will come? He asked, hesitating. What if no one shows up or thinks we're just kids playing at being environmentalists? Who cares what they think? Sarah shot back, her eyes fierce. You just stood in front of everyone and shared your passion. You can't stop there. You already inspired us today. Just think about how much more we could do. Her unwavering faith gave him the boost he needed. As they continued walking, Jamie began to envision their group meeting, kids huddled around, exchanging ideas, ready to tackle sustainability and dive into real projects. Later that afternoon, Jamie sat in his room brainstorming. His notebook was filled with doodles of solar panels, drawings of community gardens, and lists of students he wanted to reach out to. The excitement was palpable, but so was the anxiety. What if I fail? He wondered aloud, feeling it press down on him like a heavy weight. That he closed his eyes for a moment, picturing his mom and the sacrifices she had made. She had always taught him to stand up and fight for what mattered. Her words echoed in his mind, believe in yourself, Jamie. You can create change. He opened his eyes, fueled by a stronger sense of purpose. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Jamie felt a tug of determination. This wasn't just a project. It was a movement. A way to change lives and make a difference. Tomorrow, I'll reach out to some friends. Get a list of those who want to join, he decided. The thought sent a rush of adrenaline through him. Just then, his phone buzzed on the desk. It was a message from Sarah. Can we meet tomorrow after school? I have some ideas for the club. He smiled at her enthusiasm. This could really happen. But then another thought crept in. As he stared at the message, a familiar gnawing feeling returned. What if he wasn't capable of leading this group? What if, by trying to make a difference, he only brought failure? With a sigh, he began to doubt once more, wrestling with his insecurities. What if all these dreams crumbled before he ever got the chance to share them? The uncertainty hung in the air, heavy yet tempting. It was the kind of tension that fell like night around the promise of the day ahead. Could he really rally people together? Could he rise to the occasion? As he turned off his lamp, Jamie felt his heart race with anticipation. Just what awaited him when the sun rose once more. The next morning light streamed through Jamie's window, nudging him awake. He rubbed his eyes and glanced at his phone. 8 a.m. already. Time slipped away like sand through fingers. He sprang out of bed and his heart fluttered with a mix of nervousness and excitement. Today marked the beginning of something new, something he had dreamed of all night. As he got dressed, thoughts raced through his mind, tangling with the familiar anxieties. What if he stuttered while speaking? What if his ideas flopped? He shook his head, dismissing the doubts like pesky flies. Today was about action, and he needed to channel that nervous energy into something positive. Arriving at school, Jamie felt the vibrant buzz of students around him, but it was also unnervingly loud. Voices mixed into a hum of chatter and laughter. He searched the hall for Sarah. He needed her enthusiasm to feed off, to ground him. Hey! She called as she spotted him, waving a notebook filled with colorful sketches. I can't wait to share my ideas. Jamie smiled, freeing himself from the heavy cloak of doubt. Together, they headed to the library where they planned to gather their friends for the first official meeting of the Eco Club. As the clock ticked closer to the appointed hour, Jamie's stomach churned. What if nobody shows? He murmured, glancing at the empty chairs surrounding the long table they chose for their meeting. They will, Sarah replied confidently. Just wait. And then, one by one, students trickled in. At first, it was just a couple of their classmates, then more joined, and soon the table was buzzing with excitement. Jamie's heart lightened. Seeing familiar faces gather around fueled his courage. Thank you all for coming. Jamie began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. We're here to start a movement. He paused, feeling the weight of their stares. To make our community more sustainable. The room filled with murmurs of encouragement. He noticed Sarah's supportive grin and felt bolder. Ideas were tossed around: planting trees, creating a recycling program at school, and organizing cleanup days at the local park. Jamie felt safe sharing, knowing they were in it together. At the end of their brainstorming session, Sarah insisted they vote on a project to kick things off. Let's do something big, something that shows what we stand for. She declared. After a lively discussion, the group settled on an environmental fair, just like Sarah had wanted. Everybody buzzed with anticipation, their eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Jamie's pulse quickened as he realized they were actually going to do this. When they wrapped up the meeting, Jamie felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. We're really doing this, he said. I can hardly believe it. Yes, and it's all thanks to you deciding to take that first step, Sarah replied, nudging him playfully. You've inspired us all. Jamie felt warmth at her words, a mix of pride and relief washing through him. Perhaps he could lead them after all, but as they started to disperse, Jamie caught a glimpse of another figure lingering in the doorway. It was Mr. Thompson, their science teacher. He'd been listening from afar. "You kids are doing a great job," he said, a proud smile sweeping across his face. "Everyone deserves to see the leader in themselves." Those words struck deep in Jamie's chest. Validation from an unexpected source stirred something in him. If his teacher saw potential in him, perhaps he truly had it. As the day wore on, Jamie felt a swell of hope. But lurking beneath that joy was a nagging question. What if the challenges ahead were greater than he anticipated? This could change everything, but would he rise to the occasion? The sun dipped low in the horizon, casting long shadows once again. Tomorrow, they would start planning the fair. What hurdles awaited them there? The next day dawned with a hint of uncertainty in Jamie's heart. He tossed and turned in bed, run-throughs of the fair's plans replaying in his head. As he finally got up, he felt a heaviness settle in his chest. Was he really ready for this challenge? He donned his favorite t-shirt, its vibrant green color reminding him of their club's mission. He grabbed his backpack, now fuller with ideas and goals, and set out towards school. The morning air was fresh, but something inside him felt stagnant. In the library, the atmosphere was alive with chatter and laughter, but Jamie's thoughts clouded his excitement. He found Sarah already deep in conversation with some members. Her eyes sparkled as she animatedly discussed flyer designs. "Hey, Jamie!" she called out, her face lighting up when she saw him. "You're just in time. We're brainstorming how to bring everyone together for the fair. You're going to love this." "Yeah, for sure," he replied, but inside, doubt whirled like a restless storm. As their friends joined them, Jamie felt his heartbeat quicken. Today, he needed to focus on getting everyone coordinated. "All right, team," he announced, trying to sound assured. "We've got a lot to accomplish. Let us split into groups." He assigned roles for organizing the booths, publicity, and logistics. As he watched everyone spring into action, empowerment surged through him. It felt good to lead. Ideas bounced between them, with laughter punctuating their plans. The nervous lump in his throat began to ease, yet, as the meeting progressed, Jamie's gaze flickered to the clock. Time was racing, and he couldn't help but worry about details slipping through their fingers. What if they weren't ready? "Jamie?" Sarah interrupted his thoughts. "Are you okay? You seem tense." "I'm just thinking," he confessed, as a hint of concern flickered in her eyes. "What if we miss something important?" "Hey, it's going to be great," she assured him, placing a hand on his arm. "Look around. We're all in this together. You're doing amazing." Her words anchored him momentarily. Yet, doubt still flickered in the back of his mind like a weak flame. As the meeting wrapped up, Jamie turned to everyone. "Let us make this fair not just an event, but a statement. We can really make an impact." Cheers erupted around him, and he felt a swell of pride, even if a tiny voice inside still whispered fears. While leaving the library, however, Jamie's heart sank as he overheard a group of students whispering. "They'll never pull it off. Environmental fairs are boring, anyway." Their laughter stung, a sharp jab to his confidence. He hesitated, unsure if he should confront them. Instead, he kept walking, the momentum of hope momentarily flattened. On his way home, he replayed the day's events, the laughter mingling with snide remarks in his mind. He couldn't let negativity sway him. The fair was going to happen even if he wasn't sure everyone was behind it. But when he arrived home and hesitated at the door, something unusual caught Jamie's eye. A package awaited him on the porch, unmarked yet enticing. With a spark of curiosity, he hurried to open it. Inside, he found a handwritten note along with a vibrant green t-shirt and an old newspaper clipping about a successful environmental fair. As he unfolded the note, his breath caught. "Believe in your voice, Jamie. You already inspire others more than you know." Jamie's heart raced with confusion and excitement, but he couldn't shake off the sense of intrigue. Who sent this? And why now? Standing in his doorway, A mix of emotions surged through him. He couldn't help but wonder, had someone been watching his journey? What was their connection to him? Tomorrow's challenges loomed ahead, and now, Jamie was even more determined to uncover the mystery behind the package. The next morning, Jamie awoke with a sense of urgency gripping him. The vibrant green t-shirt felt like a new emblem of hope, igniting a flicker of determination in his chest. He slid it on, the fabric snug against his skin, and raced out the door, more resolved than ever to make the fair a success. As he approached school, Jamie's heart thumped heavily in his chest. There was something about the package from yesterday that lingered in his mind. Who could have sent it? Why him? He felt like he was straddling between two worlds, the old Jamie, filled with doubt, and a new, empowered version ready to reclaim their voice. In the library, excitement thrummed in the air, a palpable force that made Jamie pulse with energy. Sarah was there, snagging the attention of their friends as they huddled over some new flyer designs. Jamie strode in, holding the note tightly in his hand, ready to share the news that had blossomed in his heart. "Hey, everyone!" he called out, his voice trying to rise above the chatter. When they turned, he saw their expectant faces. "I got this yesterday," he said, brandishing the note. "Someone believes in us and in me. They think we can do this." His tone was a mix of eagerness and surprise. They leaned in, intrigued. "Who sent it?" Sarah asked, her brow furrowing. "I don't know. But I want to find out. And I want to make this fair happen." The group buzzed with enthusiasm. Ideas flew back and forth, each more extravagant than the last. Jamie felt electricity in every word exchanged, and the earlier darkness that had clung to him began to lift. For the first time, he could see all the details snapping into place. As they discussed booth themes and activities, Jamie felt the doubts that had once suffocated him begin to dissipate. He could hear Sarah's laughter above the noise. "This is going to be epic. Just imagine the photo ops. We'll blow everyone away." He chuckled, driven by the collective energy. They schemed a way to turn the fair into a thrilling journey where students could connect, learn, and even play, but everything shifted when they were interrupted by the same group of students that had dismissed their plans earlier. Jamie tensed. Their laughter echoed harshly across the room, slithering into Jamie's now fragile happiness. "Really? You think this fair is going to be fun? Good luck with that lame idea." One of them sneered, smirking as if they held the world's amusement in their hands. The laughter rang in his ears, like an unwanted siren. Jeering whispers floated around him, threatening to drag his resolve down into despair again. But then he felt it. A warmth, a pressing need to rise above, fueled by the voice in the back of his mind insisting he was capable of more. Jamie took a breath, stepping forward. "You don't know what we're planning," he declared, his voice stronger than he felt inside. "But you're going to see just how amazing it can be. Everyone is invited. If you want to dismiss us, that's your choice. But we're not giving up." Stunned silence followed his outburst. Eyes widened, and Jamie could feel the weight of their disbelief. He turned back to his friends, who were now staring at him with admiration and awe in their eyes. That spark of magic returned. Maybe this was what the note intended: encouragement masked in mystery, challenging him to confront negativity directly. As the day wore on and plans continued to unfold, Jamie felt a steady fire igniting within him. It was the thrill of embracing leadership, the promise of change, and the possibility of something profound blooming from his efforts. At home that evening, Jamie sat at his desk, the t-shirt draped neatly nearby. He knew the journey was far from over. The fair was looming, filled with challenges and uncertainties, but now he was ready to embrace not just the fun but the meaningful connections it could create. With a smile playing at his lips, Jamie reached for his phone. Maybe it was time to send a message to the mystery sender. What if they could help in ways he hadn't yet imagined? He began typing, excitement bubbling up. Just as he hit send, a thought struck him: what if this fair could do more than connect his classmates? Could it bridge gaps in the wider school community? Determined to find out, Jamie felt the pull of a new mission ahead. Tomorrow's break was just the beginning, and the challenge of making an even greater impact ignited a spark in his heart, and just like that, Jamie wondered what would happen if he could unite not just his classmates but the whole school for a greater cause. What doors might it open? The next morning, Jamie woke up with renewed energy bouncing through his veins. He bounced out of bed, visions of the fair dancing in his head. Every detail felt more vibrant, bursting with potential. He slipped on his green t-shirt, still feeling the magic of yesterday's revelation humming under the fabric. As he strolled to school, he couldn't help but daydream a mental collage of smiling faces, colorful booths, laughter, and shared experiences. What if the fair could become a place where nobody felt left out? The thought filled him with a warmth he hadn't felt in a long time. When he entered the school, the familiar hallways brimmed with students, all buzzing about the upcoming fair. Jamie's heart soared. He gathered his friends, a familiar troop of enthusiastic faces, in a corner where they could brainstorm. The laughter and banter flowed like a song, each idea weaving a thread in the fabric of their plans. "Let's set up a booth where people can share stories," Jamie suggested, his voice vibrating with excitement. "Not just games and food, but real connections. It would make the fair more meaningful." "That's brilliant," Sarah chimed in, her eyes sparkling. "We can call it Voices Unite. Who wouldn't want to share their story?" The group erupted into discussion, each suggestion spawning another. Jamie felt lighter than air, buoyed by their back and forth. But still, the shadow from yesterday lurked just below the surface. As they plotted out their ideas on paper, Jamie's heart skipped a beat when that group of dismissive students strutted by again. Their laughter rolled through the air like dark clouds, casting a shadow over the room. "Wow, Voices Unite. That's a real joke," one of them scoffed, leaning against a locker. "Are you really going to turn a fair into a therapy session? Good luck with that." Jamie's pulse quickened, his breath catching in his throat. But then he remembered the spark of leadership igniting within him. The encouragement of the mysterious note echoed in his mind. He stood tall, meeting their gaze with newfound confidence. "You might be surprised," Jamie replied, his voice firm. "This fair is about something so much bigger than you think. It's about connection. Who knows? Maybe you could join us and discover the power of sharing." Silence settled around them, an unexpected change from the usual teasing. The students hesitated, caught off guard. Jamie could almost see the wheels turning in their minds. Wondering if maybe, just maybe, they missed something important. As the assembly bell rang, Jamie felt a surge of triumph wash over him. He returned to his friends, who rallied around him with unspoken confidence. They were ready to face any challenges, no matter how daunting. The day flowed smoothly, yet Jamie's thoughts kept drifting back to that sense of unity he yearned for. Hours later, sitting at home with a blank page before him, he began to sketch out ideas for Voices Unite. He could see it, a beautiful tapestry of hopes, dreams, and shared experiences, a vibrant quilt that stitched the hearts of students together, but doubt tugged at him just as fiercely as hope. Could he really bring together so many different people? The weight of the challenge loomed heavy, and he wondered, with uncertainty creeping in again, was he in over his head this time? Just as he set his pencil down in frustration, a message pinged on his phone. It was from an unknown number. Heart racing, he clicked it open. The words twisted something inside him, an exciting yet daunting rush filling the air. "Hey, Jamie. I heard about your plans for the fair. I think we can help you." His mind spun with questions. Who was this? How did they find out about his ideas? Was this the push he had been waiting for? With a deep breath, Jamie replied, "Who are you? What do you have in mind?" The response came almost immediately, stirring his heart with a new sense of urgency, hope, and possibly the future of this fair, his community, and himself. "What if I told you I have connections, and we could make Voices Unite a reality?" Wait until you hear this. The possibilities seemed endless. But with them came a new wave of anxiety. What lay ahead? Would it truly be everything he hoped for, or would it be another dream shattered? Jamie's mind raced, excitement battling fear. He leaned back in his chair, heart pounding as he faced the uncertainty of the path ahead, wondering what would unfold next. Would he grasp this opportunity and take it to heights he hadn't dared to imagine? Jamie could hardly wait for the next message. What did they mean by connections? His heart raced as he stared at his phone, feeling an intense blend of curiosity and apprehension. The silence in his room was deafening, broken only by his fingers tapping anxiously on the desk. He knew he needed to respond and soon, but what if the person behind the text was just another student looking to poke fun at his dreams? Finally, he tapped out a quick response. "I'm listening. What do you have in mind?" The wait felt like an eternity, each passing second stretching his nerves. Then, his phone buzzed again. "I know some people who could help get Voices Unite off the ground. We can gather students from different backgrounds and even get teachers involved. It could be really big. What do you say?" Jamie's heart skipped. Could this be true? He felt a wave of hope wash over him as he typed back, "Really? That sounds amazing. Who are you?" The reply came just as quickly. "I'll introduce you soon. But for now, maybe we can meet after school. I can share some ideas that could elevate your booth." The prospect sent excitement coursing through him. He wrote back, "Absolutely. Let us do it." After school, Jamie's mind was abuzz. He gathered his friends in their usual spot, bursting with the news about the mysterious helper. The faces around him lit up with enthusiasm, their imaginations igniting at the possibilities this collaboration could bring. "Do you think they know anyone who can provide supplies? Or even better, help us promote it?" Sarah asked, her eyes wide with excitement. "Maybe they can connect us with some local businesses," Jamie suggested, feeling the energy build amongst his friends. As the final bell rang, Jamie met the person who had messaged him outside the school. A tall boy with an easy smile and friendly demeanor introduced himself as Ethan. "I'm really impressed by your idea. It's not every day you want to bring people together like that. Let us make it happen." Ethan's enthusiasm was infectious, the two brainstormed together on the steps, ideas bouncing from one to the other. "What if we set up a storytelling circle? Like a live open mic where people can share their stories?" Jamie proposed. Ethan nodded vigorously. "Yes. And we could even have a video booth, allowing people to record their stories and share them digitally afterward. Imagine how many lives could be touched." As they talked, Jamie felt a surge of warmth wash over him. Perhaps this was the missing piece he needed. Somewhere in the need to create connection was the answer to his worries. They exchanged numbers, eager to keep in touch and work out more details. As Jamie returned home later, excitement and a sense of purpose filled him. As he lay in bed that night, he smiled at the thought of his dreams starting to take shape. But doubts crept in like shadows. What if they couldn't pull it off? What if people didn't show up? Just then, his phone buzzed again. It was a message from Ethan. "Hey. I can't wait for tomorrow. I've already reached out to a few students who want to help. Things are going to get real." A grin spread across Jamie's face. He felt the possibility swell within him, the kind of feeling that could break barriers and bring people closer than ever before. He was about to take a leap into something greater than himself, but just as quickly as the excitement swelled, the anxiety followed. What if it all fell apart before it even began? He paused, breath caught somewhere in his chest as he lay staring at the ceiling, imagining the faces of new friends and neighbors, all coming together to share their stories. Could he transform his hopes into a reality that would unite them? Would he take the leap, or would hesitation hold him back? Determined, he whispered to himself, "Tomorrow is the day everything is changing." The anticipation wrapped around him like a warm blanket, yet it sat heavy on his heart. What if he failed? As he drifted off to sleep, one thought echoed in his mind: tomorrow would decide everything. Would his dreams take flight or crumble once again? The day of the fair arrived, bathed in bright sunlight and filled with the promise of connection. Jamie stood outside the school, heart racing as he watched students filter in, their energy crackling like static in the air. He could hardly believe this moment had finally come. He and Ethan had worked tirelessly, weaving the threads of their hopes into a fabric that everyone could wear proudly. As people enjoyed the booths, laughter echoed around the schoolyard. Jamie felt a wave of joy wash over him. We actually did it, he thought, watching the storytelling circle fill up with students sharing their experiences, each voice contributing a unique melody to the tapestry they were creating. Moments later, Sarah joined him, her face lit up with joy. This is amazing. Look at everyone having fun, she exclaimed, spinning around, taking it all in. They high-fived each other, a surge of pride swelling in their hearts. They had transformed doubts into smiles, and Jamie couldn't help but beam, but just as the festivities flowed, one more hurdle approached. Jamie noticed a small group in the corner, the very same students who had laughed and dismissed his ideas before. His heart sank. Would they disrupt the harmony they had fought so hard to build? A moment later, one of them stepped forward, arms crossed defiantly. You think you can just set up a fair and make everything all better? Realistically, nothing's going to change. Jamie felt nerves twist inside him, but he took a deep breath. We're here to share stories, to connect. Change doesn't happen overnight. It starts with interaction, with understanding. His voice turned stronger, taking confidence from everyone around him. Yeah, right. And what makes you think anyone will care? That familiar panic crept back in for a heartbeat. But he couldn't let it snuff out the glow of hope he had felt igniting within him. Instead, he turned to the crowd surrounding the storytelling circle. Who here cares about creating a better community? Who here believes in supporting each other? One by one, hands shot up. A wave of voices echoed his sentiment, filling the air with power. Jamie looked back to the student, determination setting into his features. You see, this isn't just my dream. It's all of ours. The student faltered, taken aback by the unified response. Well, good luck with that, he muttered, turning away, leaving Jamie and his friend standing firmly, heads held high. Jamie. Sarah's voice broke through, and he turned to find her eyes sparkling with admiration as applause broke out around them. You did it. You stood up to them. It was incredible. A rush of warmth surged through him. He hadn't just confronted the negativity, he had rallied support that he had never thought possible. In that moment, Jamie's doubts melted away, the fair continued to thrive, each moment woven together by laughter, stories, and a sense of belonging. They showcased creative ideas on sustainability, shared heartfelt narratives, and participated in activities painting the world with a colorful mural that represented their connection as a community. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the day, Jamie stood at the heart of it all. Families gathered, students united, and teachers encouraged all the creativity swirling around them. He glanced down, seeing the vibrant green t-shirt he wore as a reminder of the message from the unknown sender. He smiled, finally realizing that he had created a space where everyone could shine just as he had that day, transformed from doubt into celebration. When the day concluded, Jamie stood with his friends, astonished at what they had accomplished together. Ethan clapped him on the back. This was just the beginning, Jamie. Imagine what we can do next. Thank you for believing in this, Jamie replied, his voice thick with emotion. They had built something meaningful, and with it, they had woven bonds that would last. As they slowly began to pack up, Jamie looked around at the happy faces, feeling like a weight had lifted off his shoulders. The journey had indeed been challenging, but together, they had risen triumphantly. The fair had forged not just memories but also a new chapter for Jamie, one filled with hope, courage, and determination that he would carry with him into every future endeavor. This was only the start, but he was ready to embrace whatever came next. A new light had dawned, and Jamie walked into it proudly, ready to keep inspiring, keep dreaming, and keep leading. Hey, if you loved this story and want more amazing transformations like Jamie's, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on exclusive stories that touch your heart. Leave a like now to support the channel. It seriously helps get this message out to others. And comment below what you felt about Jamie's journey. We want to hear your thoughts. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to feel this transformation today. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your engagement makes all the difference.